Welcome to block two of the Founders Lab Live, which is the idea validation. And in block one, you found a real problem. Now we're going to turn that problem into possible solutions. And here is our first rule. Don't fall in love with your first idea. Suppose your problem is that students often forget what to carry to school. Your first idea might be a reminder app. Okay. But what about a smart timetable, a back checklist, a QR system, or something completely different? Same problem, many possible solutions. So let's begin by creating 10 ideas. Then we will compare them and choose one that looks promising. Next, we will use something called the Value Proposition Canvas, or VPC. The name sounds complicated, but the idea is not. It helps us understand two things. What does my customer really need? And does my idea actually help them? Finally, we look at other solutions already out there and figure out what could make ours different. By the end of this block, you will move from one problem to 10 ideas to one best idea. And that one idea will move forward with you into the rest of Founders Lab life. So let's get started. Now, before we start creating ideas, here's a quick look at where we are in the Founders Lab live, journey. And in block one, you found a problem which I already discussed as well, but you can understand it from here as well. Explored why it actually happens and turned it into the clear how might we statement. That's done. Now we are here at block two, which is called idea validation. And this is where your problem starts turning into something you could actually build. Think of it like a funnel. We will start wide with 10 different ideas. Then we will compare them, test our thinking, and narrow them down until we have one strong idea to take forward. By the end of this block, you will also understand who your customer is, what they really need, and what other solutions already exist. And look at what comes after this. You will build your business model, create your brand, build your first working version, prepare your pitch, and eventually reach demo day. Don't race ahead. This is what I will request. So right now, all you need from block one is your how might we statement. Keep it in front of you because we are about to use it to create your first 10 startup ideas. So let's get started. So remember the design thinking map we saw in block one. Back then, we were here. That is empathize and define. We understood people, found the real problem, and wrote our how might we statement. Now we have moved to the third stage, that is ideate. And ideate simply means come up with lots of possible ideas. And here's the important part. At this stage, we are not trying to find the perfect idea immediately. Imagine I gave you a paper clip and said, think of different ways you could use this. You might say, hold papers together, make a tiny hook, reset a device, create a bookmark, and so on and so forth. Once you stop judging every idea, your brain starts becoming much more creative. That's exactly what we are going to do with your startup problem. For the next activity, there are three simple rules. Go for quantity first. Don't judge your ideas yet. And yes, with ideas, right, you will always get enough ideas, right? Also, wild ideas are welcome. An idea that sounds strange at first might lead you to another idea, as I mentioned, and that's actually a brilliant way. Later, we will compare and shortlist them. But right now, your job is to simply create possibilities. So take out the how might we statement you created in block one, because it's the time to enter the debate, the ideate, stage, and see just how many solutions you came up with. All right. So it's time for your first challenge. You have 10 minutes to create 10 ideas. That's just one idea per minute. And here is the secret: don't try to make every idea brilliant. Imagine your how might we statement is uh, how might we help students remember what they need to carry to school each day? Your ideas could be a smart bag checklist, a timetable that sends reminders, a color coded notebook system, a small screen attached to the school bag, an AI assistant that prepares tomorrow's checklist. Some ideas may be simple, some may sound crazy. Write them anyway. You may ask why. Because sometimes idea number two is obvious, but idea number eight is the one you would never have discovered if you would stop early. So here is what you need to do. Put your how might we statement at the top of your page, set a timer for 10 minutes, then write ideas numbered 1 to 10. Keep each idea to one sentence. Don't edit. Don't cross things out. Just keep moving. If you get stuck near the end, use anti gravity to help you generate ideas 8, 9, and 10. Remember, AI can give you possibilities, but you decide which ideas are worth exploring. So don't overthink. Your goal right now isn't one perfect idea, it is 10 different possibilities. Timer ready? 10 ideas, 10 minutes, go. You can pause now. Wonderful. You have 10 ideas in front of you, but we are not going to build all 10. It's time to choose one. And instead of simply picking the idea that sounds coolest, we will use three simple checks. First one is feasibility. Yes, feasibility. So ask yourself, can I actually build a simple version of this? Not the perfect final product, just something you could create and demonstrate. A flying school bus might sound amazing, isn't it? But building one today could be a little difficult. Second, which is passion. Do you actually care about this problem? You're going to spend the rest of Founders Lab life working on this idea. So choose something you're genuinely interested in solving. The third one is market sense. Are there real people who need this? Keep it simple. Can you think of 10 people who might face this problem? Now, take your top three ideas and give each one a score from 1 to 5 for feasibility, passion, market sense. Add the scores, and you can understand the maximum score will always be 15. The idea with the strongest score moves forward. If two ideas are tied, and that could be the situation, choose the one you're more excited to work on. That's the very simple thing that I'll tell you to choose, the final one. So you can give also your selected idea to Claude and ask it to score the idea using the same three checks and point out the biggest risk. But remember, Claude gets a vote. You make the final decision. Okay? So I think now you can take your ideas and find the one you're taking forward. Great. So you have selected your idea. Now we need to check something very important. Does your idea actually fit what your customer needs? For that, we will use the value proposition canvas. Yes, it's proposition canvas or VPC. Now, the name sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. Imagine you're designing a new school backpack. Now, before adding a charger, GPS, speakers, and 10 fancy pockets, you first need to understand the student carrying it. What do they need to do every day? What annoys them about their school bag? And what would make their life easier? If you ask the question to me, I would say my school bag was quite heavy. That's the customer profile side of the canvas. So it has three parts: jobs, pains, and gains. What is the customer trying to get done is actually your job. What makes that difficult, annoying, or frustrating? That is the pain. And what would make the experience better is the gain. So, which means this side, that is the customer profile, is not what you are telling. It's the customer, it's the client, it's the user who is facing all these things is actually telling. Then we look at your idea on the other side, which is called the value map. And here you have products and services, pain relievers, and gain creators. So, products and services are like, what exactly are you offering? Pain relievers are, of course, how does it reduce the customer's pains or problems? And gain creators are how does it give them the result they want? And the magic happens in the middle, the fit. So your idea should connect with what your customer actually needs. So don't think of the VPC as a complicated business chart. Think of it as a simple matching game. Customer needs something, your idea helps them, get there. On the next slide, we will see how this works with a real example. But before that, I would like to tell you the story a little bit about, value proposition canvas. What you see on the screen with two boxes, right, is something that I have designed. But in reality, value proposition canvas is a one-page document, which is a little different from what it actually looks here. And this was designed by Alexander Osterwalder, who is an entrepreneurship educator, world famous. And he designed it for marketing professionals, for product creators, for startups, right? And if they're in the journey of creating a new product, they actually need to understand the users. And that's where he did it. So I think you'll be excited to actually see how it actually looks. So let me just reshare my screen. Correct. So you can actually see this. And let me first start from its website, which is strategizer.com. And yeah, this is where it is. And if I just go down, it's very colorful, by the way. Right. So this gentleman is Alexander Osterwalder. And yeah, so here you can see at the bottom, which is value proposition. Let me just click it here. And according to Alexander Osterwalder, value proposition is the key to winning customers and driving business growth. And he's actually saying that 6 out of 10 ideas fail in the real world because teams launch something nobody wants. To avoid building things your customers don't want, uh, you need a practical tool that helps you map, think through, discuss, test, pivot, which means actually change, right, your company's value proposition. So a lot of things are there. You don't have to just go into so many much detail. Um, yes. And in fact, he's actually telling what a value proposition is. A value proposition is a statement that clearly outlines the unique benefits or value a company offers to its customers. Okay, so for example, if you say, what does Apple offer? Maybe it offers style, it offers eminence, it offers, let's say, prestige, right? And you'll be surprised, oh, I thought it used to offer MacBook or iPhone. No, those are just tools because all other companies do that. So think in that manner. Okay. So this is essentially their strategic value that lies in strengthening three main areas: marketing, market positioning, customer centric delivery, and strategic growth and innovation. But we don't have to go into much of detail. Okay. And let's just go inside. Yeah. Yeah, so this is what is the canvas actually. So basically, I would urge you that you can use the same screenshot, and this is what is. So on the right hand side, what you see is your customer, right? And just imagine the head of the customer from the top, and this is that gift box that you're actually giving, right? And so customers have customer jobs, they have pains, and they have gains. For customer jobs, you need to have products and services, and you have to establish that fit. For pains, you have pain relievers, and for gains, you have gain creators. Okay. So this is called the customer segment. This is called the value proposition. So you can write the value proposition here, right? And this box is the value map. Okay. So I hope this is clear. So one thing that comes out from this discussion is, if you have more than one kind of customers, let's say, which means that you'll have to make more number of value proposition canvas. So if you have two kinds of customers, you will have two different value proposition canvases. Hope this is clear. That's it. So we have to give credit to Alexander. Okay, so let me just get back to the slide. All right, so we'll now move to the next slide, which is, yeah, the value proposition canvas. And we are taking an example of a startup which has recently gained enough traction, and in fact you can just check on the internet. The name of the startup is Class Plus, right? So it's actually a company that helps coaching institutes manage their classes digitally. So let us imagine a coaching institute owner who teaches around 100 students. Okay. What are their jobs? They need to run classes, collect fees, share study material, and keep track of students. Now, look at their pains. Managing records in notebooks can become really difficult as the number of students grow. So students may keep asking for notes, collecting fees can take time, and the institute may want a stronger digital presence. So, what would they gain from a better solution? They would like to manage things from their phone, give students easy access to content, automate fee reminders, and grow without making everything more complicated. Now, look at the other side. Class Plus offers tools for online classes, digital payments, content sharing, and student tracking. See the connection. A pain like a difficult fee collection connects with digital payments and reminders. A need for easy access to notes connects with online content sharing. A desire to grow connects with tools that help manage more students digitally. That's what fit means. So your product shouldn't simply have lots of features. Its features should connect to real jobs, real pains, and real gains of your customer. Now keep this example in mind, because Next, you're going to build the same canvas for your own startup idea. So you have 25 minutes to create the value proposition canvas for your own startup idea. And now I think you remember the template, what Alexander Osterwalder has designed. You can download it from the internet and please use that. And you can actually paste it here, uh, right in your template or in your presentation. Okay, so you have to start with your customer profile. First will be the jobs, right? What is your customer actually trying to do? For example, if your customer is a student, use a study planning app. Their job isn't use an app, right? Their job might be finish homework on time, prepare for exams, and manage different subjects. Next, you have to write their pains. Maybe they forget deadlines, feel overwhelmed by too many tasks, or don't know what to study first. Then think about their gains. Maybe they want to feel organized, save time, and be better prepared for exams. Once that's clear, move to your value map. What exactly does your startup offer? How does it reduce those pains? And how does it create the gains your customer wants? So here's the most important part. Make the two sides connect. If you have written a customer pain, you should be able to point to something in your solution that helps with it. You can use AI as your co-pilot, but don't simply ask AI to complete the entire canvas and copy the answer. Give it your idea, discuss each section, and decide what actually makes sense for your customer. Your goal is not to fill boxes. Your goal is to understand why would someone actually want what I am building. All right. So you have 25 minutes. Let's build your value proposition canvas. You can pause the video and continue. So you have created your value proposition canvas. Fantastic. Now let's use AI to check and strengthen your thinking. So we have 4 tools with 4 different jobs. First one is the Claude. Use Claude to go deeper into your VPC. Instead of asking it to complete everything for you, ask it to work with you one section at a time. It can ask you about your customers' jobs, pains, and gains, and then challenge whether your solution really matches them. Next, Gemini. This is where we check, does something similar already exist? Suppose you're creating an app that helps students exchange used textbooks. Gemini can help you find similar solutions and understand what they already offer. Then you can use anti-gravity. Use it to understand your customers' jobs more deeply. Remember, people don't have only practical needs. Okay, they might. So, for example, a student might want to, get good marks, but they may also want to feel confident and make their parents proud. So anti-gravity can help uncover these different layers. In fact, it is a product by Google where you can actually design your whole product, digital product, right? Once you've used anti-gravity, finally, it's all about perplexity. Use it when you need some evidence. Instead of saying, I think students have this problem, look for recent research, surveys, or data that can support what you have written. So remember, Claude is basically to improve your VPC. Gemini, see what already exists. Anti-gravity, understand your customer more deeply. Perplexity, find evidence. And you don't need to use AI for everything. Use the right tool for the right job and keep yourself in charge of the final decision. Next, we're going to actually use some of this research to discover who else is already solving your customer's problem. So your idea is taking actually shape. Now we need to find out who else is solving the same problem. And finding competitors is actually a good thing. Imagine uh, you are building a service to help students find hostels. Now, your direct competitors are other hostel, booking apps. They offer something similar to the same customer. Then you have indirect competitors. Maybe students already use WhatsApp groups to ask seniors about available hostels. It's a different solution, but it helps with the same need. Okay. And finally, there's the status quo. Okay. That simply means, what do people do today if they don't use any product at all? Maybe students call relatives, ask friends, or simply walk around looking for hostels. All three matter. Now choose a few competitors and create a simple table. Write down, what do they do, where do they fall short, and most importantly, what could you do differently or better for your customer? That's your value gap. I repeat, value gap. For example, we are different because we verify every hostel, which matters to students because they want to know the place is genuine before they arrive. So you can use AI to help research competitors, but make sure you check the information it gives you. The goal is not to prove that your idea has no competition. It's to understand the choices your customer already has and discover where your idea could fit. So let us map your competitive landscape. So you have looked at your customer, your idea, your competitors. Now it's actually time for something AI cannot fully replace, and that's another person's reaction to your idea. So what I would suggest is you should pair up with someone you haven't worked with yet. One of you will be the presenter and the other will be the challenger. The presenter gets 2 minutes. Keep it simple. Okay. My customer is so and so. The biggest pain is so and so. And my idea helps by so and so. That's it. You don't need a fancy pitch, anything else yet. Now comes the interesting part. The challenger will ask two tough questions from the question bank on the slide. Okay. For example, why would someone use your solution instead of WhatsApp? Or what's the one problem you solve really well? The goal is not to prove that your friend's idea is bad. The goal is to help them spot something they may have missed. So if your partner asks something you can't answer, that's useful. You have just discovered something you need to think about before you build. Then swap roles. The challenger becomes the presenter, and you repeat the same process. Listen carefully to the feedback you receive. You don't have to accept every suggestion, but you should understand why the person made it. That is what validation is really about. Don't just ask, do you like my idea? Find out where your idea is clear, where it's weak, and what could make it stronger. All right. So find your partner, 2 minutes to present, two tough questions, then swap. Let's validate. You can pause the video now. Fantastic. You have completed block 2, idea validation. You began with one problem from block 1, then you created 10 possible ideas, compared them, and selected one idea to take forward. But you don't stop here. You used the value proposition canvas to understand your customers' jobs, pains, and gains, and checked whether your idea actually helps them. You also explored your competitors and found your value gap, what could make your idea different and useful. Finally, you put your idea in front of another person and let them challenge it. So before moving ahead, quickly check your work. You should have now, one selected startup idea, a completed, customer profile and value map, a clear value gap, and at least three competitors you understand. If you've got those, you're ready. Because in block 3, we are going to take this idea and answer some more bigger questions. How will the whole business actually work? That's where the lean canvas comes in. So great work in block 2. I'll see you in block 3. Thank you.